What's up guys, Chris Ramsay here at CBC Radio Montreal, and I'm gonna show you guys a magic trick. So a lot of people ask me where I get my cool playing cards from. Well, as a magician, I mean, ordering them online takes a bit of time. So what we have instead is this little catalog. And if you look inside the catalog, there's all sorts of designs. I mean, you got black, green. I like the blue one particularly, so I'm just gonna grab the blue one. You know, it's a lot easier than ordering cards. But here's the cool part. If you're not actually satisfied with the color of the deck, and if you want something a little different, so for instance, we've got all these blue cards in this deck, but let's say blue's really not my color. I'm just gonna go for something a little more flashy, maybe some red. And as you can see, they're all red cards, which is kind of cool, right? But now I'm stuck with red, so whatever.
Are you good to come in the studio for today?
I am, absolutely. What's going on guys, Chris Ramsay here. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for liking this video. As you just saw, I just got off the phone with CBC Radio. CBC is a Canadian broadcasting corporation, very, very popular in Canada, and they have a huge radio talk show, and they want to see a trick. Now, I have a few things planned, but here's the problem, here's the dilemma with doing magic on the radio, is that how does the spectator listening know that there's actual magic going on, right? And that's the sort of crux of it, you don't. So I'm thinking I might do like a little bit of a mentalism trick, which is much better than a card trick for in studio for the host. But I also thought it'd be really cool if we had a caller call in and I'd perform a card trick for them, so they have to have a deck of cards with them, and I'd do that over the phone. So not quite sure what I'm gonna do yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. I was thinking maybe a book test to bring some books along, or just like, you know, read their mind, what word are they thinking of, that type of thing. But regardless, it should be a lot of fun, and I think this is like prime hour where everybody's sitting in traffic, so a lot of people are gonna be listening in. I think the main focus of the interview is social media, is YouTube, and is how magic comes into all that, you know, how my channel's growing and that type of thing. So it's super interesting that all these sort of broadcasting corporations and TV channels are interested all of a sudden in a YouTuber. And that's the other thing about YouTube. It's TV and radio are competing against the internet. They're so far behind, because like if you think about it, all this production for like a TV show, all these people working, the lighting, the writers, the producers, the PAs, all of this stuff costs so much money, and only so many people are watching, and that demographic is a certain type of demographic. It's not everybody. Teens aren't watching morning news, do you know what I mean? So it's much more interesting for a company or an advertiser to look at a YouTuber with a niche market, with a very, very niche market, and a good, wholesome following that does tune in, does actually care, and is engaged. You know, and all it costs is literally a camera, and I do all the edits. So one person, and that's it. Which is what I think is kind of cool of today's day and age, that we don't need to rely on these huge broadcasting corporations to feed us the information. We just give people information of our own opinions ourselves, and we become the producer, the director, the writer of our own stories, of our own content. And that is something that's super, super cool. So I gotta get ready and figure out what the hell I'm gonna do on radio. If you guys comment below, maybe let me know if you've ever been on the radio, or what type of effect you would perform on the radio, so that the viewers can enjoy it as well, not just the person listening. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your response on this. What type of effect, whether it be card magic or mentalism or anything, would you do on the radio if you had the opportunity? And let me know. Obviously, I'm not going to see the comments before I go on the radio, but it'll be great to know for next time. So thanks. I've been scouring the books. There's also something in this book, Psychological Subtleties by Banachek. It is a very sort of basic book in mentalism, a lot of really easy principles, self-working things, but very, very powerful nonetheless, and probably a reference for a lot of mentalists. I think this is one of the most popular mentalism books that ever came out, even though it's super tiny. But they do give you some great sort of over-the-phone tricks that you can do, one or two, and I might use that. We'll see. All right, so I'm all changed and I'm ready to go. I think I look presentable enough. My mom would disagree. She'd be like, lose the hat. And I'd be like, fuck that shit. So I found out exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, because you have to tune in to find out. So here we go, off to CBC Radio 1 for an interview. Boop. I'm gonna film this, by the way, so you'll be able to see the performance as well. All right, so just found a parking spot. Yes, I changed my hat. I went from a bill hat to a toque. The Americans out there, a toque is the proper word for what I'm wearing. This isn't a beanie, this isn't a cap, it's not a hat, it's a toque. Deal with it. Let's go check it out. J'ai une entrevue à Home Run. 5 heures. Chris Ramsay. Alright, so just got to the studio. This is where we're going to be recording right here. Might be doing some visuals as well as some mentalism and maybe even a Facebook live stream with these people. So if you can't hear me, I'm trying to whisper. I don't know how good their software is. Probably really good. Alright guys, just quick cut in what you're about to see because I wasn't allowed filming in there, sort of. It was weird. I kept the audio tape of the interview, but then later on when I do the magic trick, we actually shot it with an iPhone, so you will be able to see that footage. Let's listen into the audio if you guys feel like it. If not, just go ahead and...
Today we're going to meet Chris Ramsay. His specialty is magic. Here he is explaining what it's like when a spectator sees a magic trick for the first time.
You're sort of unbalanced for a second. And in that split second, your whole world has just shifted. Everything you thought was real, everything you knew was a fact, as sure as you're stepping on it, just disappeared. I think that's magic.
That is magician Chris Ramsay. His YouTube channel has nearly 130,000 subscribers and over 8.5 million views. And he joins me right now in studio. Hi.
Hi, Sue.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Super stoked.
I'm super stoked too because I really enjoyed watching your videos. So for people who haven't seen them, how would you describe your channel?
So there's an array of videos on that channel. It jumps from performance, so street performances, to tips for wannabe magicians or people just up and coming or want to learn a few tricks, as well as I actually teach tutorials on a few simple card tricks and something called cardistry, which is like how to cut cards sort of artistically.
Right. I find that, and I don't know what you attribute your success, but I find that you feel like you're really yourself on your channel, like you're really talking to the listener and you're kind of saying, sometimes lifting the veil a little bit. How much of that is deliberate?
Yeah, definitely deliberate. I think authenticity goes a long way, especially on YouTube, because YouTube is sort of a platform by creators for creators. So it's not like you're trying to sell them anything. It's literally you're just putting yourself out there and creating content. And if people are receptive to that, well, then they'll give you feedback and you start a conversation with people, essentially. So it's not like you're talking to them, but you're creating a conversation.
Right. But creating it obviously in a very controlled way, because I'm assuming you're also... a business person, right?
Correct.
I mean, the product is really slick and professional looking. Has it evolved? Like, what's the evolution been?
Definitely has evolved. I think, obviously, the more you put out there, the more you sort of refine your own craft and the more you sort of refine your own image. And so it's just been a journey from the beginning to what it is now. And in terms of like aesthetics, which is like photography or videography and that type of thing, I hold in very high regards. So I try to really keep the focus on high quality content, but also really engaging and fun content.
And so when you say the beginning, so let's do two beginnings because I want to hear your YouTube beginning, but when did you first get started in magic?
So when I was a kid, I think like a lot of little kids or little boys and girls, they just love magic. I think magic's just innately something you like as a kid, right? Yeah. But then it wasn't until I think I was 20 where I had a few tricks up my sleeve. I already knew maybe a dozen tricks and I was bartending. And in this bar, it was just obviously a great way to get tip, and it was like the perfect performance ground to hone the craft. Because I mean, you think about it, there's low lighting, there's loud music, and there's obviously inebriated customers. So everything works in your favor as a magician to sort of refine that.
And so then, how did you make the transfer onto YouTube? Like, how did that happen?
So YouTube happened, I think 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years ago. I'm not entirely sure of when it started. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where I put up a street magic video, which is not unlike what you see sort of David Blaine doing on TV or that type of thing, but sort of did it my own way with my own flair and obviously my own budget. And
so can we just explain what street magic is? You basically just go up to people on the street.
Literally. It was just kind of taking people out of their sort of mundane everyday lives, looking for people who, perhaps were just going about their thing every day and sort of really pulling them out of that is just an amazing thing to see on people because, you know, when you disturb someone's objective view of reality, like as an adult, that's a little bit like terrifying for some people, and they've never really experienced that. You know, as a kid, you kind of believe in magic, so you don't really need it, but I find adults, you know, they could use some of it.
Right. So you started filming that.
Yes.
And putting it up on YouTube.
Yeah, so I worked with a friend of mine, Lee Thorburn, and Brian Wilcat, who filmed this whole thing. We put it together, and we just sort of slapped it online and said, let's see what happens. And at this point, I was already involved within the magic community quite a bit, and it just sort of garnished this massive following after that, and it kind of went, you know, mildly viral, I could say, if that's a term. And after that, it's been, you know, just a ride. I've just been keeping up with the videos.
So, I mean, I feel like this is even an old-fashioned question and I'm trying to even figure out how to form it. But it's like, so how important is YouTube to your career, or is YouTube your career? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it a means to an end, or is this where it is?
So I like to have my hands in several pots. I think that's like the modern entrepreneur, you know, to kind of have, you know, different incomes coming in. YouTube obviously is one, but then there's also, I use it as a platform for marketing myself, and YouTube has brought me countless amount of gigs. So I do, you know, private parties, corporate events, weddings, and that type of thing, where I perform close-up magic for people. And so YouTube has just been a massive banner for that, as well as, you know, just being my outlet creatively.
You still bartend?
I know. Yeah, no.
Because that's a pretty perfect combination.
I'll attend to the bar, but I won't. Yeah.
Now, I'm just curious about what magicians think of you, because you were talking when we were out in the green room before, and you were saying when you sometimes screw up, and you talk about your screw ups also on your video, but you're like, the magicians see it right away, but regular people don't necessarily see it. But I mean, I know there's some debate among magicians about whether you should tell stuff like that.
Correct. So this is maybe a longer discussion than we plan out, but in a short form, magic has definitely come a long way because of the online medium, where you used to practice this mainly, you know, learning from books or learning from a mentor or manuscripts, now has evolved to be online. I actually work with a company called Illusionist, and they are the biggest magic retailer online. They're the first. They've been around 15 years, and we create and sell magic tricks to magicians all across the world. Mind you, if you're, pardon the expression, a layperson, somebody who doesn't do magic, and buys something a little bit advanced, it doesn't really matter if you see how it's done, because you won't understand it. And that's kind of...
Oh, we poor lay people.
I mean, you can get there through, you know, subscribe to my channel. We'll start small. But
all I care about are those cool cards you have. You have really cool cards.
Thank you. Yeah, we do that as well.
Yeah. So, okay, well, now you had a bunch of ideas that you wanted to come in here and do magic on the radio, which must be a little bit hard, but we volunteered Jeremy. And now, does Jeremy have to stay at the traffic center for this trick?
No, he can come right in the studio.
You're going to come right in studio?
Darn it, I thought a glass would separate us.
I'm going to prop this mic up, and I'm actually going to stand up. Yeah.
Stand up and put the mic up and tell us can you describe what you're going to do?
So, okay, I'll wait till Jeremy gets here so he's aware of what we're going to do. Hi, Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
We've never set anything up. This is the first time we're ever meeting.
I'm scared like there's no more.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
It's just a trick. Yeah. But
my kids are listening, by the way, so it's been nice knowing you guys.
I'll try not to make him disappear.
Stand up, too. It's so much fun standing up here. Okay.
So, basically what we're going to do...
could you make him disappear?
not
you notice
quite.
how she actually is encouraging you to do this.
All right. Yeah. The environment here just got a little bit hostile. Actually, what we're going to try here is a bit weird. We're actually going to go on a trip to a corner store. Not actually, because that would be weird walking out in this interview. But just in your mind only. So it's a fictitious corner store in your mind. And I want you to imagine that you're going to buy something. Now, here's the thing. This corner store, everything costs between $0 and $1, no matter what it is. You can buy a magazine for 28 cents. You can buy a banana for 12 cents. Whatever the item is, it's somewhere between $0 and $1, okay? So I want you to imagine you're going to grab an item and you're going to bring it to the cashier and you go to pay for it. So for the first time, how much does that item cost?
I'm allowed to tell you?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell the viewer so they know.
The listener will say 79 cents.
79 cents. $1, Bob. Yeah. Is there any reason you chose 79 cents? Is it like a year someone was born that was close to you? It's not a favorite number?
No, I know that retail always charges a number below the next number so that they don't seem like it's a more expensive item.
So there's no way I could have known that.
No.
Okay, Jeremy, here's the thing. Has it ever happened to you where you've paid for something at a grocery store or whatever, and you've had the exact amount of change that you needed. Has that ever happened to you in your life?
Rarely.
Rarely, but it has happened, right? And
yes.
it's a kind of a special moment where you're kind of like you and the cashier, like sharing a moment, right?
Yes.
Or like when you think of somebody and they call you, that type of thing. We don't know what it is, but it's interesting. Now, Jeremy, I think we created that moment right now, actually. As weird as that sounds. So my hands have been here the entire time, Jeremy.
Yes.
You can vouch for that.
Yes.
Okay, I want you to come over here. This is going to get weird. I want you to come over here and reach into my pocket. I have some change in my pocket. Yeah, you can leave the roll of quarters there, Jeremy.
This pocket?
It's a roll of
radio,
dimes.
right?
Let's
Theater
do
of the
this.
mind.
Okay, Jeremy, in the pocket, there's some change. Go ahead and grab it all out.
Yeah, hey, whoa.
And throw it on the table.
Yeah.
No, all of it.
All of it. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's all the change.
Oh, yeah, there is money in here.
And just throw it there.
There might be more. I'm sorry. There's nothing left in here. Oh, yeah, there is more.
How much we got there, Jeremy? Can you count it out for the viewers?
Hey, look, there's American in here too.
There,
right?
yeah, 'cause, obviously,
does that increase the value because it's American?
Canadian pennies
There are
no
79 cents in your pocket.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's quite insane, actually. Yeah. We never met, right?
No, never. I have a feeling you might never want to meet me again.
Do I keep this?
No,
Yeah,
you
you better
give that
take it
back to
back,
Chris. Okay, Chris,
Wow.
so I got to tell you, well, the whole time that was going on, I was super nervous because I was like, oh my God, what if he gets it wrong somehow?
Right.
Do you ever feel super nervous?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's performance art,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not painting on a canvas or playing an instrument. I'm using people, and stuff can go wrong.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
I feel used.
I feel relieved.
Yeah, me too. That was a great trick. Okay, so in case my laughing obscured everything, Jeremy pulled 79 cents out of Chris's pocket, and that was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. All right, so just got done my radio segment with CBC Radio 1, and it went fantastic. Couldn't have went better. So I wanted to set up the tripod. I had my DSLR in the bag, and I wanted to set everything up, but unfortunately, there's a lot of laws, which I thought there would be, but they said it could at first. It's just turned out that, yeah, you gotta get a lot of permission, yada yada. So I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's just do the magic and do the segment. And I'd include the audio file and hopefully a little bit of video. So the host, Sue Smith, who was a sweetheart, everybody there was super nice. She said, yeah, go ahead and film it. So they put it on the iPhone and we got that bit of footage. As well as what you've seen was a little bit of promo for them, me doing some visual magic, which is kind of cool. Hope you like that. All right, guys, so that's it for this edition of the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope some of it was informative or whatever. One thing I'm gonna ask of you guys, I'm about to put up a tutorial, yes, and I don't know what of. So it could be a card trick, it could be a rubber band thing. I actually got this cool thing with a matchbook with matches that you guys might really enjoy. Let me know in the comments what type of tutorial you guys want to see, whether it's flourishing, cardistry. Let me know in the comments and we'll figure it out together. So guys, thanks again for watching, and I look forward to the next video, and I look forward to hitting it up with you guys in Toronto. Tomorrow I am going to the YouTube space in Toronto to hold a lecture, and we're gonna have a great time, but I'll be sure to film that. I'm gonna film the entire Q&A so you guys can watch that once it's uploaded, but you'll also get like the behind the scenes, the vlogs, yada yada. I won't bore you with the details. Stay tuned. That's coming up soon. Guys, have a safe and happy weekend. We'll see you next time. Peace.